I think I figured out the ultimate way for these game developers to counter Maple. And it's simply so easy. If you stop letting her gain new abilities, eventually you're going to stump her, especially if you just keep mimicking or countering her abilities, knocking her out cold. But when every monster she eats, she says it tastes delicious, you need to basically do what the Nintendo Switch did to its cartridge. So when kids try to put the game cartridge in their mouth, it tastes horrible. Nintendo realized that, hey, kids be dumb, we need to make sure that they don't try to swallow something they shouldn't. But these game developers, they're doing the anti-Nintendo. They're saying, hey, we're gonna make the octopus that's trying to kill you taste like Kentucky Fried Chicken. No, you need to make these monsters taste like absolute garbage because this girl is a menace and she needs to stop putting things in her mouth because otherwise she gains new abilities like the tentacle arm as we saw at the end of this episode. This season's been fantastic. Now, I do got a full live reaction to today's episode available on my Patreon, so if you want to see my full uncut thoughts, head on over there and consider supporting, because honestly, this is one of my favorite shows to react to. It's just such a blast. It's like watching your favorite YouTuber, your favorite Twitch streamer, play a game that you wish you could play, or at the very least, you wish you could play as good as they are. And in this case, we just don't have VR that's so immersive that we can eat as much junk food as we want in the virtual world, come out having no calories or arteries clogged, and just feeling like we had the best time ever. And for an episode that was all about giving the other members their own pet, unfortunately for Sally and Maple, they can't do it as they already have their own, which it does make sense. Most games would probably go the direction of you can have other pets, but you can only have one out at a time. But given that this is a very realistic environment for them, it makes a lot of sense that there's an emotional connection, so they don't want to go the route of saying, hey, swap out your pets. No, like to them, it's literally the same as having your cat or dog inside your home, right? Like it's something that means something. So I can understand why they can only have one at a time. But I did like seeing just how a few of our girls were able to get that W and get some very cool pets. Immediately when I saw Teddy Ursa, which is honestly what these little stuffed animals, these little teddy bears looked like, I was like, okay, just imagining Syrup, we have this little turtle who becomes this big turtle. I'm just thinking in my head, Teddy Ursa's over here, can they become like Ursa rings where like they become very big bears? And I'm looking at this little snake at the end thinking, okay, is it gonna look like the snake we just fought? There's so much potential with the scaling that they can do to any creature, but they honestly also had a lot of fun joking about like what they can and can't bring back to the guild, because I mean at one point like someone opens up a book and there's like this weird ghost kind of popping up. I'm thinking to myself, okay, I mean I want a Boo like from Mario, like the little Boos that would fly around like Super Mario 64. That's what I'm getting for sure. But of course, when you have Sally, who's a bit of a scaredy cat, you can't bring anything too spooky, because could you imagine, you come in, you're having a guild meeting, and you just summon a skeleton as like your little pet, and just have it creep around Sally? There's a lot of trolling that could be popping up there, but of course, there would also be a lot of rage quitting, so I can understand why they're not going that direction. But it was fun, right? Because this season, it's fast paced. We're going like this, new event, new event, new event. But I love that. I love just watching these characters. I don't need story arcs. I don't even need character arcs, honestly. I like watching these characters explore a game that is to such a degree both immersion level in terms of touch, sensation, taste, feeling, right? All of these things that just VR can't get to yet, one day hopefully, but the fact that you can just watch a world that's this fun and this goofy, and yeah, there was a lot of tentacle grabbing, maybe more so than most, and you might be thinking you're watching an SAO episode, but ultimately, the show remains pretty damn harmless and is just a blast to follow. It's like watching a streamer play a game, right? And there was two big aspects that sold people on. There was the humor of a girl tanking every hit and just playing a game in a way that no one thought possible because she had a non-gamer mindset. But the biggest thing that really hooked people in the long term was it was a video game you wanted to play. In Season 2, that's the focus. Yes, trying to challenge Maple and beat Maple and counter her unorthodox plays is of course a relevant aspect, and the game developers are pulling their hair, or their imaginary hair in the case of them playing as their avatars. But ultimately, this season has just been showing us really cool events, and in a world like our own, where almost every game anymore has a season pass, a battle pass, all these microtransactions, they want you to buy the DLC, the expansions, this, that, and the third. You can't keep up with all that, right? So you try to pick the ones you play the most of, but even then you probably feel a little dirty sometimes being like, honestly, why do I keep playing, like, there's so much new stuff I could play. But when you look at a world like this and this video game, I would be paying $50 a month to play a game like this because it is so damn good. It is constantly giving new events, new abilities, just everything about it. It just feels like the best video game you could ever play. And honestly, the variety of locations from haunted to flaming depths of hell to the beautiful landscape, literally the first shot in this episode is this beautiful scene I'm showing right here. How would you not get lost for hours upon hours upon hours? Hell, all these trapped in a video game, if you trap me in this world, I'm okay with that at that point. Like, it is delicious food. The monsters that try to kill you apparently taste delicious. Just imagine what the ice cream sundaes that they deliver to you taste like. It is such a good show, and is one of the comfiest, fun shows you can follow in any season it airs in. And that's why as long as they keep making the show, I'm going to keep watching. It's not trying to stretch your brain, making you like say, oh, we need to see these crazy story arcs or character arcs. A lot of times it just boils down to a group of people playing a video game, and that's all I need from this show, and all I wanted really from Season 1. And the fact that it's just piggybacking off of Season 1, Season 2 has been an absolute banger for me. Like, yeah, if it's fast-paced and it cuts things from the source material, I mean, it doesn't feel like it's a negative for an anime watcher's experience, because it is high production values, like, legit. How many times, like, within 2 minutes, do they show some cool attack where you're like, oh man, look at these, like, almost ghostly arms swinging swords, and then we'll transition to swinging hammers doing other crazy things. Just everything about it just feels like the production hasn't missed, and minus that library fight when Sally was kind of running around the haunted books and stuff, that was really the only noticeable 3D moment, and even then, it did its job because of just what they were trying to get across action-wise. But I mean, you can look at the octopus trying to grab you, like the 3D didn't feel off-putting. It blended in quite well, especially given that they were underwater. They had fun with a lot of the facial expressions. There's this one moment where Maple's basically being like swung around underwater, and her face is like stretching, like you can tell she's trying to hold her breath. It's just a lot of goofy moments that are just really well produced, and the humor, the action, it hits perfect. You feel like you're a member of this guild watching the chaos pop up, and honestly, this is one of those shows that I could easily watch 100 episodes of. It just feels like watching your favorite Twitch streamer, your favorite YouTuber, play a game that either you're not skilled enough to play in the way that they are, or in the case of us viewers, it's because this game doesn't exist, but damn do we wish it did. Thoughts and feelings yourself, though, down below. What did you think? Favorite pet for me, it's gotta be the teddy bears, but honestly, that snake's pretty cool, and just considering what Syrup can do in terms of being larger, I think there's some possibilities both for badass bears and also big snakes, so I'm excited to see what they do with them. But thoughts and feelings yourself down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, ring that bell so you can get notified when I upload all these videos. Also, as I mentioned, we got that full live reaction over on my Patreon, so consider supporting if you so wish. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.